When I was younger, that would be about 6 years old, I went to the residential school, and when I first noticed the lawn there, they had green grass and how beautiful it looked like a mansion. And then when we went out to play, we would see, we weren't allowed to get dirty or anything, but when I looked over this way, there's a little village here, and they had houses built along here, and once in a while I would get to stay with my aunt and uncle, and their house was right at the corner, where the road is there, their house was there. I had a couple of aunts and uncles that lived in that village. The reason why they had lived in a village here is because in the springtime it would flood and the land would be covered down there, so they would all come up here to stay out of the floods. And there was a field. The field was here, and they did cut the grass, look after the grass every now and then. But what I did know from here is what little grass and no gardens or anything were built here. And I still don't see too many gardens except the one that they're getting to the school here. And when we weren't allowed to play in the dirt because most kids like to get dirty. And when I was younger, I come from Agiskanook. My grandmother would tell us, don't play in the dirt. And I would say, well, I'm a kid, how come I can't get dirty? But as years went by to about 10, 15 years ago, I started to understand what my grandmother was trying to tell us when we were little. Don't, like, Mother Earth is ours. How would you like if somebody tried to dig into your skin? It would hurt. The Mother Earth would be hurt too while you're digging in and all that. I'm little leery about when people start digging around because, it doesn't come back to normal, especially when we look at what underground now. There's no medicines locally. You'd have to go out further to get some good medicine because ones around here are have chemical effects. As I got older, things have changed. I do enjoy the new development because it shows where we come from nothing to becoming economically supported. And I am very proud and impressed to see how far we have gone, even though there's a little bit of land locally here by the church and the school. Everything is green, and I don't mind that green, but I would like to see more gardens put up. That's it and that.
I started drumming when I was a young child, and then I wanted my grandchildren to carry on. So their great-great-grandmother, who passed on, Florence, started them drumming back in 2013, or 2014, 2015. They used to drum on her walker. She was teaching them songs. They came to become a drumming group with my mom's great-grandchildren, who are also my nieces and my nephews. And they didn't want to be called the Sukini Junior. They wanted their own name. So their real name they're known as is Exiskansiska Singers. And nobody knows how to write it or say it. So in English it's the Seven Star Sisters, also known as the Little Dippers. There are currently 13, and the ages range from 1 year up to 12 years. There's 2 boys and the rest are girls. They would like to become professional drumming group and a professional dance group. And right now with them being so young, they're learning how to drum and practice songs. And they also got to perform for Fawn Wood.
Evelyn Bess.
Abigail Dana Hunter.
My name is Drayden Williams.
Ariana Rose Nicholas.
Carmen Rosemary Alexander.
Eva Margaret Alexander.
Rebecca. 12.
7.
I am 10 years old.
6 years old.
7. 9 years old.
11.
When I was 10.
Many years.
About like a year ago.
I don't know.
When I was 3 years old. 2015.
When I was 8 or 9.
Good.
I feel great.
I feel respectful and grateful.
Good.
Proud. Good.
It feels nice.
The Snake.
And I also
My favorite song is The Spirit.
and Neil Smith.
The closing sound. The spaghetti sound.
The granite tree.
We are aiming to head to Hawaii and to Albuquerque, New Mexico. The reason why we've chosen those 2 places is the culture exchange. We would like them to explore all the other cultures. And Hawaii is on an island and they've never been to Hawaii, and that was the first one that they were invited to. And we would like them to go to Albuquerque Gathering of Nations so they could watch how the Miss Indian World gets crowned and all the other nationalities that are there. And that's what they want to do, that's their dream. So we are currently fundraising for that for them, to make their dreams come true. Singers!
As I travel through the territory, I could see different places where different legends were told. and every marking through that territory has stories that I've been told, like when certain things happened. So that story comes to us as part of our creation story, and from what I understand, there was a hunting party that had shot an animal. They've wounded it, and it was chased through. They chased it till it came to this area, and it climbed up the hill, the cliff, and it left this footprint that you can see from the lower side. And eventually this is where the animal finally passed. So they decided they were dressing it. And as they dressed it, the hair that they were taking off was handed out to, there was a group of mice, sisters, and they were given the hair for their homes to keep their houses warm, insulate. And as the job was being done, the one little mouse got more than the other, so it was questioned by the other mice, why did she get more? And the person that was in charge of the dressing told him, well, the reason she gets more is because she has a lot of children. So this mouse, she had a lot of children. So, and as time went on, they weren't satisfied. They were arguing. They were angry because she got more than they did. They started arguing, and then the fight broke out. All the mice that were there started to scrap because one was getting more hair than the other. So the fight continued. It got pretty wild, and one mouse, one mouse had the other one in the headlock, or was squeezing her head, and her eyes bulged out. And that's where we got that mouse from. This other mouse grabbed her tail, was pulling on it, and yanked it off. So that's mouse number 2. And all the different mice were left with different marks. The story tells us that's how we got different kinds. We got the deer mice, the field mice, and different kinds. I think there are 4 different types of mice that are indigenous to here. Today we have a mouse that has bulgy eyes, and I think I've seen them. And there's a mouse that has no tail at all. Then there's a mouse that has a regular tail. Right at the footprint where the animal climbed on top of the hoodoos and Long Prairie, if you come in from the east side, you used to be able to see the piles of hair all over. And they would tell that story and tell us about that. And as this fight was going on, the rabbit, the form of a rabbit, as he comes out of his hole and he looks at it, he's asking, what's going on now? Because this fight was going on. Our word for mouse is insuk, nitsnapko. And it was part of our, he's in the legends from time to time. And he's one of the creatures that when they asked the animals, when the people were going to be introduced to time, he was one of the ones asked how he would help the humans when they came. And he said he offered his flesh for food and his skin for clothing, and the different parts that we use from like the hooves and the different parts of the animals that we use today are divided. If you put them all together, it's the entire creation story. So we're being told a little at a time, and usually this happened in the evening, as with our grandparents or people that knew the legends, that they would tell them to us every night. So there's always a lesson in most legends. There's a reason for being told.
My name is Robert Williams, aka Stubby. I live on the St. Mary's Reserve, or formerly St. Mary's Reserve, now Akam. I was in residential school from 1964 to 1969, from when I was 6 to when I was about 10 years old.
My name is Herman Alpine, and I attended school here from 1949 to 1961. And I remember that day I had received the strap 4 times. By the time I went to bed, I counted there was 4 times that I had been beaten. And it's things that I remember like that, it wasn't a fun place to be. And education to me was a very negative thing.
Residential school, this building is Catholic, it was run by the Oblates of Mary Immaculate. The school was built in 1910 and closed in 1970. So the maximum, I guess the height of its operation, they probably had about over 200 kids, both boys and girls there.
Names that were given to them after they came to the school. When you came into the school, they changed your name completely. They gave you a different name. And if it wasn't from the Bible, they gave you a name from the Bible. So that was a big, big change. I was introduced to their God, who was foreign to me, because up till then I was taught different. The spirituality that I learned is a lot different than what they taught me in this building. There were Catholics here, and at times they were almost fanatical. They taught, but they didn't practice what they were teaching.
Residential schools were built to assimilate First Nations people into the white world. They wanted to destroy languages, cultures of Indigenous people. When I was about 8 years old, this boy ran away from the residential school. They caught him that night, and we were all woken up. It was quite dark outside. We were woken up. This boy was stripped naked. He was tied over a table, and they came in with a strap and they whipped him. He couldn't lay on his back for probably a good week and a half after that. After the strapping happened, the lights were out. There was only one light, and it was focused on that boy. And they told us that if any of us tried to run away, the same thing would happen to us.